faculty development program on data analytics and its application. And it is presented to you by IT and CS department under the aegis of Star DBT scheme. But before that, I would like to invite our Vice Principal, Coordinator of Computer Science Department and Coordinator of Star DBT scheme, Dr. Shalini Sinha, and would like her to say a few words on the Star DBT scheme. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. A very, very good afternoon to each one of you. And it's a great pleasure to welcome each one of you to the FDP that CS and IT departments are starting under the STAR DBT scheme. So the DBT STAR scheme, this is by the Department of Biotechnology, as most of you must be knowing. They encourage sciences and technology in colleges by giving us grants. And under this grant, which is called the STAR College Scheme, under this grant, we have instituted, this grant is given for 3 years. And under this grant, we have instituted a number of different workshops, seminars, laboratory renovations, changes and modifications and experiments are done. So DBT, I would say, gives new life to colleges. So we have in our college, we have 3 departments. That is the CS and IT department taken as one, Department of Physics and the Department of Maths, all of which come under the DBT STAR scheme. We also have a DBT STAR status in our college, and 5 of our other science departments, that is chemistry, life sciences, microbiology, biotechnology, and statistics. They also have, they are in fact senior to us. After 3 years of DBT STAR scheme, they have now graduated to become DBT STAR status. Not everybody gets it, only those who have a lot of good work get it. So in KC, all our science departments are under the DBT STAR. So which is a very big feather in our cap, and we are very proud of it. And this gives us an occasion to do a number of activities. And we are at the end of our 3-year tenure. And this will be one of the last activities that we will be doing is together as a Department of Science and as a Department of CS and IT. So a very warm welcome to each one of you. And it's our pleasure to have you all with us. And I hope you all have a very enriching and fruitful session of FDPs. Thank you so much, and warm wishes to each one.
Thank you, ma'am, for illuminating us with it. Now, I would like to call Dr. Rakhi Gupta, the Head Department of IT, to enlighten the participants on the theme of Faculty Development Program. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Geeta. Good afternoon, one and all present in the FDP. It's a pleasure to welcome you in this 5-day FDP conducted by IT and CS department under the STAR DBT. I'm Dr. Rakhi Gupta, HOD IT department, and I extend a very warm welcome to each of you who have joined us in this program. All of you are aware that data has been the buzzword for ages now. Whether it's data that's generated from large-scale enterprises or data which is generated from an individual. Every aspect of this data needs to be analyzed so that we can make this data work and benefit our organizations. The question is, how do we do it? And that's where the term data analytics comes in. As data analytics has a key role in improving our business, because data analytics gives us hidden insights, generates reports, performs market analysis, and also improves business requirements. So in this 5-day FDP, all of you will be getting acquainted and a deep insight into what is data analytics. You will get a hands-on training session, and you will be learning how to be able to apply data analytics to make it work for you. So I hope you have a very fruitful and enlightening FDP with us in these 5 days. And we once again welcome you to this platform. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, Geeta.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great listening to you. So now today we have with us a very skillful and brilliant person on the board, our guest speaker for the day, Dr. Pooja, who is the head of MCA department at Sardar Patel, Institute of Technology, Mumbai, who will be sharing her valuable knowledge about today's topic, data science and its applications. And we are all excited for this session, ma'am. We are highly obliged to have you, ma'am. Now I will request you to begin today's session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Namaskar. Thank you, Shalini ma'am, Rakhi ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, I'll share my screen. Yeah, is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
The view mode?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. Yeah, good afternoon, and we'll start. Thank you for inviting me and for the opportunity to speak in front of the faculty members who are coming from the different science streams to present about data science and its application. It's really the very favorite topic of mine. And these days, my research and all my research scholars are doing research in related area, data science, AI, ML, deep learning, and analytics. Just 1 second. Can I close this control bar? Yes.
Which one, ma'am?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, the screen is visible. My voice is audible.
Yes.
We'll start.
Everything is perfect, ma'am. You can continue. Yes.
Yeah. So, being the first session in the FDP, we'll start from the basic. What is data science? What all tools? Why? How? When? Who? We'll try to take and get these answers from these PPTs. So what is data science basically? I hope there are other faculty members from the other subjects also. Is it only CS and IT teachers, or it's a mix?
All stream faculty members from arts, commerce and science. It's a mixed crowd, ma'am.
Okay, great. So very first, what is data science? Nowadays, as madam also said, HOD madam also said, it is the buzzword. It is the talk of the town. Everywhere it is data science, data scientist jobs. Everywhere it's data-driven things, AI and smart things. Everywhere we are looking for the smart things. Means humans are becoming lesser smarter, but the devices are becoming smarter. So how it is happening? So it's all, AI, ML, deep learning, data science, all these integrated and multidisciplinary approach, and the worldwide research in computer science and the IT field. So we'll understand what is data science basically. So it's a multidisciplinary field that uses the scientific methods and algorithms and also the systems to extract the knowledge and insights from the data. Your data may be structured or unstructured data. We'll see what is data, structured data, unstructured data, how data is generated, etc., etc. So basically, this data science, it is a multidisciplinary field. And what all things are there in the data science? Visualization, statistical modeling, statistical computing, data technology, the research which is happening currently, data consulting, real world applications, and scientific methods. So all together combining, this is all multidisciplinary data science. Again, we can define it as, So data science is a core, and what all things we need when we are working on the data science. So it is a combination, it is a multidisciplinary of these different subjects, maths and statistics, computer science and IT, and domains, all the business knowledge. Domains could be anything, any domain, wherever you want to apply this data science techniques. So when mathematics and computer science comes together, it is machine learning. So machine learning models can be developed with the algorithms and at the core of mathematics. When mathematics statistics come with the business knowledge and the domain knowledge, it is a traditional research. And when computer science and business knowledge comes, it is software development. So when all this comes together, it is the data science. So basically, when you are a data scientist, you would be working closely with mathematics, statistics. You are applying this knowledge on different domains. Your domain may be healthcare, it can be a business, or it can be anything, along with the computer science, IT core knowledge. Okay. So concept to unify statistics, data analysis, machine learning, and related methods in order to understand and analyze actual phenomena with the data. It is also defined as it employs techniques and theories drawn from many fields with the context of mathematics, statistics, computer science, and information science. So basically, what is data science? So data science is taking out the wisdom out of the data or from the knowledge. So when we are talking about a huge data, when we are talking about just the information, so information, then data, and data, it may be related, it may not be related, it is structured, unstructured. Out of that, some information is extracted. Out of that, the knowledge is extracted, and then different patterns or insights are extracted. And those insights help decision makers to use those insights for maybe for your business strategies, or maybe taking certain decisions about the product or certain policies or anything, or taking your research ahead. So again, when we come to the data science, again, how can we look at the data science as a bigger picture? See, businesses need some information, businesses need policies, businesses need people or the higher management to take decisions. How is the product, whether the product is profitable, which part of the India the product is selling good, whether it is doing well in the urban areas, rural area, how about the gender biases for the product or anything. So that in those decisions are taken by the higher management. But to make them, to support them to take any decision, to support, to have certain policies related to any product or any businesses, you have to work, or the people who are the data scientists, they have to work the piles of the data. So huge amount of the data is generated, it is extracted, different insights are taken out of it, and those insights, that particular list of the insight is provided to the senior managers of the businesses, and it helps them to take the benefit so that their company is in profit. So generally, business administration and exploratory data analysis, this is basically the job of the analyst. And what does a data scientist do? So data scientist is basically related to this majorly, I'm talking about the major and the big picture of the data science, is exploratory data analysis, machine learning and advanced algorithms, and data product engineering. So based on that, data scientists work, and these are not the airtight boundaries. So you cannot actually bisect those things, or this is the job of data analyst, and this is the job of data scientist, and this is the job of the senior manager. It's integrated. So sometimes the boundaries are not airtight. Okay, but this is the big picture. Now this substantive expertise, which is the marketing basically. So marketing, statistics, hacking, and coding. So these are the areas. Okay, a bigger picture of the data science. So what all is involved in this? Understanding the customers, defining metrics that matter, ask good questions, make it actionable, translate for non-technical audience. So that all comes under marketing, right? So what is data engineer? So data engineer is constraints, get the right data, data preparation, data governance, SQL. So all that when marketing and hacking and coding and data engineer, so these would be the steps. I can give you here one example, like when we all know a big brand that is the Tata. Tatas have several products, right? Right from the namak and biscuits and many more. So I'll just take here one example from the Tata product, which are the biscuits. And you all know the glucose biscuits. So glucose biscuits are there since hundreds of the years, right? There is a big customer bank for the Tatas for the glucose biscuits. Now there are different varieties of the products which they have. So there are normal glucose biscuits, there are cream biscuits, there are many more. So Tata actually wanted to increase the price and to cut down their brand on the glucose biscuit, which is the very, very small packet. Earlier, the price of the biscuit was 2 rupees. And in 2 rupees, people used to get that product, and it is still continued. That product is still there. Now, you would be wondered that it is not a beneficiary or the product which gets higher profits to the Tatas, but they decided to have that product in the list because they gathered the data coming from the different part of the India. They understood that there is a big customer, and that big customer size is the labor class. And for that labor class, that glucose biscuit packet is a food. It's a one-time food for them. It's a one meal for them, along with a cup of tea. And that one packet serves as a meal. It replaces as a meal, and that is very, very vital for that class. And that's why they decided not to close down that glucose packet, but to make certain changes so that it would be beneficial, or it can be profitable, or at least it will not be a business which gets a loss for them. So they worked on that. Their research team worked on it about the packaging, wrapping, removing the inside, paper wrappers, which can, which would be able to cut down the prices on that. And then they reduced the weight by some grams. And they still kept that 2 rupee wala biscuit packet, still it is there on their product line. So this is how the data science works. So when higher management is sitting in their board meetings and looking at their data, they cannot look at and read the data, as a whole. So what they want the glimpse of the data. They are not there to read the terabytes and the megabytes of the data and each part of the country, looking at the actual, what is in the data. But what do they want? They want to see the graphs. They want to see the visualization. How is the business growing? In what quarter, how much it was? In few years, in last 10 years, how the business has grown? How the products are working? How is the feedback? How are the customers, giving the response to different products? Or is there a necessity in launching a new product in particular area? If the statistics are shown in that way, that there's a need of the a particular product launching in an urban area, maybe for the metro cities, one particular product is needed. What all they need? They need the data, a very crisp data ready on their table, which is very authentic data, validated data with the numbers, and within some time, they are able to derive the policies based on the data. So this is the very, very vital. So data scientists, when they are coming up with the crisp data at the end of, processing all those things, the businesses are run, the businesses are grown, different policies are made. So that's why the data science is very, very vital. This is not only required by the business people, but now the data science has entered into all different sectors. So let it be a public sector, private sector, it can be education sector, it can be anything. So generally, as I discussed, big data, performed analytics on it, and then a concrete thing can be taken out of it, which will help decision makers to take the decisions. So that is the analytics. Analytics is basically, performed on the data. So data is vital. Now, big data and analytics. So what is the relation between the big data and analytics? Whenever we say big data, the word itself says that a lot of data. The data records in thousands and the millions. So millions of records, but records of what? It can be anything. It can be customers' data, it can be students' data, it can be teachers' data, it can be schools, education, it can be related to healthcare, it can be anything. Okay, so that's hundreds of, thousands of, and millions of related data. Okay, so business intelligence, it requires big data and its analytics. Big data visualization. Big data visualization means we are not going to show them the record and actually the tables, but there has to be certain graphs, maps, certain diagrams which are drawn as an interpretation from the data. So millions of the data checked, churned, identified, processed, and patterns found out, and then represented in such a fashion that just one screen is sufficient. Or in just one screen, you can represent the entire data. What does the data talk about? So that's the visualization. Now, big data analytic services. So in analytics, there are many more services for working as a data analytics, and data management is also core. Because when we are talking about the big data, we're talking about the data, or we're talking about any information that has to be stored, managed, that has to be retrieved, that has to be processed. So one needs the database management skills. So it may be a structured data, like in Excel sheets, we have in rows and columns. For example, students' data, we keep students' data maybe in Excel sheet, maybe in certain, RDBMS if the institutes have. So like in the columns and the rows. So if you have 60 students, you would be having 60 rows. And for each and every particular type of information, you have columns. So that is your sheet, Excel sheet. It may be put into the database system. So you may be using Oracle, you may be using any MongoDB or anything, but we need a database management system which can hold and keep the data safe and also allow a certain management techniques so that we can work on the data and we can process the data. So what are the data science tools? So different data science tools. SAS is the data science tool, Apache Spark, BigML, D3JS, MATLAB, Excel, ggplot2. So these are different data tools. The famous tools for the business people would be a Tableau. For researchers, they generally like to use MATLAB. Also, when a particular industry wants to work and for the business intelligence, they use SAS. TensorFlow is used basically when there are millions of the records and you want to find out the patterns and work on it. Okay, so Nltk is basically for natural language processing related things or the text processing thing. If you have a lot of data which is unstructured or which is more of languages or which is more of the verbose, so Nltk can be used. Matplotlib when you have the data and you want to plot certain graphs, represent it using certain visualizations. So you can use Matplotlib. So these are some data science tools. Now again, we'll come to this. We'll see now data, big data, and what are the challenges. What is actually data science, about the introduction, and why data science. So these are few topics we will see again and we will revisit it. Data scientists, basically, what do they do? And the major concentration in the data science and also the applications. So let's see data all around. See, as we said at the start of this FDP, that the data science is the buzzword. Why? Was that data there earlier? So computer science been there since many years, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. But why then we are talking about data science now? So what about the big data? See, data was there earlier. Data is there in the books. Data is everywhere. But then what it makes so that the data science is now very, very popular because of the web data and the e-commerce. Because of the scientific experiments which are now being conducted everywhere and the data is generated. As we know, everybody is using Facebook. Now all those, the layman is also on the Facebook, on the social media. So when it is the social networking, social media, there are people, there are connection, there are friends, there are family, photo, videos, audios. There are a lot more things. There are products on the social media, there are customers, there are companies everywhere, right? On social media. So the data is being generated every second, every millisecond, nanosecond, picosecond. The huge data is generated on not only on the e-commerce websites, but on the social networking sites everywhere. So web is now flooded with the data because now it has gone to the layman to use those things. Now for every purpose, every work, there is an app, there is a website. You just imagine anything, you want to read something and you want to know something, there's information available. So there is an information overload, correct? And not only the information is available, but now there are devices, the competent devices are there to churn this data. Because when there is a data in the millions and the trillions, the records, you need a lot of time to look at the data, to process the data, to read the data, and what all people are saying. For example, you are launching a product on the website or just on the Facebook, you're describing your product. The people will respond, they will give the feedback, they will say good, bad, everything. So that data can be taken and it can be processed and found out what people are actually talking about your product. So it's direct feedback for your product and you know how is your product working. You can identify that data, you can process the data, you can see how males are responding, how females are responding, what is the response of the younger generation, whether the older generation is liking your product, etc., etc. And there are many ways and algorithms to process this data. So your data may be just comments given for the product, or it can be the ratings, it can be the feedback, it can be in any way. Right? So looking at the data, looking at what all you have, there are certain algorithms, there are certain ways to find out those different patterns out of the data, know it, learn it, and then set your next step, what you want to do next. Okay, so data is there. So a lot of data is being generated, and not only generated, the second thing is we have devices to process it. There are algorithms which tells us how to process, how to find out the inferences out of it. So data all around, like financial transactions, bank credit transactions, everything is going online. In fact, this lecture is going online. And if you have a video recording and put it on the social media, many videos would be there. looking at the videos, identifying the knowledge about it. So that all is the data again. Then online trading and purchasing and social network, as I already discussed. So data is there. Billions and the trillions of the data is available. So that is one reason. Another is how much data do we have? This is the particular thing in 2008. In 2022, the things are already changed. Google processes 20 PB a day. Now they must be processing that much data in a minute or in a very fraction of the second. Facebook has 60 TB of daily logs. These many people are logging into this. So Facebook also has a lot of data. There are always certain headlines in the newspaper that there is a leakage of the data, there is a transfer of the data, this and that. So these giants, Amazon, Facebook, Google, they have a lot of data, tremendous data. For example, eBay has 6.5 TB of the user data, 50 TB per day. This is a figure in 2009. And 1,000 Genomes Project, we will come to a specific slide about talking about the genome. Is there later. So how much data? It is in PBs and TBs. So what are the sources? So sources, it's all happening online. So every click, every impression, billing event, fast forward, pause, server request, all this is what? It's data. So everything happening online, that's when data is being created. Internet of Things, now you all know, Internet of Things and connecting all those devices. There's no wonder we stand on a weighing machine and our weighing machine will tell us how much is your weight, that digit. Now the days are gone when you only look at just that digit. Now your weighing machine will tell you whether you are overweight, underweight, how much is the body composition, how much is the protein in your body, and how much are the carbs, how much is the water content. Not only that, it will recommend you should see a doctor for this purpose. You may be facing these problems, etc., because the devices are connected now. Your fridge may be talking to your weighing machine, and your weighing machine may be talking to your computer may be talking with any other thing. So not only the Internet of Things, the devices are interlinked. So no wonder you try to take, a piece of cake from your fridge and your weighing machine will give you an alert. So day is not far away and you may get an alert from fridge. No, you're not allowed to eat that piece of cake because you're overweight. Okay, this may happen in future or maybe happening some part of the world. Now, health and scientific computing. So not only about the business data and all that, but the patient's data, scientific computing, when the repositories are connected, it's about the DNAs and many more things. Then user generated, webs and mobile. So as we discussed, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and many more social networking sites generating the data. So these are the sources of the data. Now let's understand how much is the data generated by different systems. So in earlier days, there used to be ERP. So the organizations used to have ERPs. Your ERPs may be related to your educational institutes also have ERPs, purchase details, purchase records, payment record. This kind of things are done in the ERP, and ERP generates megabytes. Okay, then came CRMs. So this is all about the CRM. CRM generates the data in gigabytes. Then comes the web. So how much data is generated by web? So what are things are done like web logs, other history, testing, dynamic pricing, many more things, searching about the marketing, behavioral targeting, dynamic funnels, all that is happening on the web. And how much data is created? In terabytes. So terabytes are created when it comes to web. And big data. So what is the big data? So big data is created in petabytes. So sensors, RFID devices, mobile web, sentiments, then user generated content, social interactions, feedbacks, everything. So anything which is speech to text, product service logs, SMS, MMS, all that is generated, and this big data is generated, which is in the petabyte. So what is big data? So big data is transactions plus interactions plus observations. So those observations also a part of big data. And when we are moving from ERP to CRM to web to big data, what increases? The volume of the data increases, and also the variety of the data increases. It becomes complex. When it is ERP, the way you have your tables, the information would be generated very properly in a systematic way. But when we are talking about the big data, does anything available in the big data? It may be you're giving a feedback in the voice message, you are giving certain information in the video or the video calls or anything. It can be high definition video, audio, it can be images, it can be graphs, it can be anything. So variety of the data, complexity of the data, and also the volume of the data. We'll come to see what all comprises of big data. So what are the challenges? So as we know, more things, more challenges. So if we have 10 students in the class and we have to correct 10 papers, the results will be declared very fast. But if we have 1,000 students in the class, so definitely a teacher would need that much time to process the question paper and answer sheet, and it will take the longer time to declare the results. It's very natural. If the data increases, you need more time to process that data. So if I want to take a viva of 10 students and identify who are the best students, who are just okay kind of students, and who are the slow learners, the process would be very easier. But when I have to interview 100 students and I have to identify who's brightest student, who is the okay student, who is a slow learner, what are their features, what do they need, and what all I can give them as a recommendation. You read this book, you need these skills to acquire, etc., etc. The process becomes complex because of the size of the data, and that is the challenge for the data scientists if the data is grown. But if the data is grown, you actually get a correct picture out of the data. So sorting 10 TB on one node may be taking 2 to 5 days. But if you have 100 node cluster, it will take 35 minutes. And this is how, if you're taking time, which is order n log n, can be then dropped down to order log n if you have 100 nodes. So means, for example, if one teacher is assessing 1,000 papers, if we have 10 teachers who will assess those 1,000 papers, so definitely the assessment will go faster. So in similar way, we need more nodes, but definitely when we need more teachers, we have to have those teachers first. Correct? So same way, there are challenges. There is a challenge for reading the data, accessing the data, processing the data, and also we need the devices to store the data, and not only storing purpose, but we have to have the computational devices which will read the data and come out with the certain, we can say the interpretation. So look at the big data and 5. These are the more, you can say, these 5 V's about the data. And what are these 5 V's? Volume. That is the size of the data. Velocity, the latency of the data processing relative to the growing demand of the interact tool. So velocity of the data, variety and the complexity of the data, as we have seen that it's a diverse data because the sources are different, the formats are different, and each data will have a different quality. One video clip can have HD, one may not be HD. Even the audio clips, maybe having different quality. The structure is different. So variety of data and also the complexity of data. Veracity, that is again about the quality of the data and value. So data should carry the value. So these are the major 5 V's, but not only these 5 V's are related to the data, but there are, nowadays we talk about the 8 V's. And these 8 V's are volume, velocity, variety, veracity, value, venue, vocabulary, and vagueness. So these 3 extra V's attached to it, and nowadays we call it as a 8 V's of big data. So we know what is volume and velocity and variety, because what happens, when you're processing the data, but the data is being created. When we are talking now, in that time from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., a huge data is created there on the website or in the web or on the social media, correct? So kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and petabytes. This is the volume of the data. And this is the velocity. So you can have the batches for processing those kilobytes, then the periodic, near real time, and this petabyte is a real time data basically. Okay. And data variety, as we have already seen, data is generated through many things: social tech, SMS, marketing, automation, etc., etc. So what are the different types of the data? One is a relational data. So relational data is a properly created data in the tables. It can be the Excel sheet or it can be different packages, RDBMS packages. So for example, tables, transactions, legacy data. So that is a relational data where, like students' data, their name, roll number, their marks of certain subjects, their previous year's graduation marks, etc., etc., their address, their mobile number, contact number, etc., properly formatted data. That's a relational data. Then the text data. So text data, it takes longer time to process because the way you speak the data is created. One can write in Marathi, one can write in English, one can write in Hindi, one can write a simple statement, one can write a complex statement. So when you're getting a feedback of your products, you don't know in what way you're getting unless and until you have given them a proper feedback form. If the proper feedback form is not there, like these are the 5 questions and rate it on the scale of 1 to 5, then you're getting a proper, structured data. But if people are writing in the social media the way they want, using some emoticons or writing in the shortcuts. Nowadays there's a fad, these youngsters use anything, tod mod ke kuch bhi likhte hain. We're not only able to read that, and as a human also, it is tough to identify what they're writing, in which language they're writing, the short forms and all that. So text data generated on the web. Then the semi-structured data, which is in the XML files. So certain things have format, certain things have no format. Graph data. Then social network, semantic web. This data, we'll talk about the semantic web also. Streaming data. And you can afford to scan data only once. If you have millions of the records and millions of the verbos and the statements and anything is there in that data, you can only read it once. So you have to have certain ways to go through the data because there's no chance you can read it twice. You can't afford to waste your time reading it again, because by the time you're reading your data, the new data is generated and created in the same pace, velocity. Correct? So scanning your data once, we must have certain algorithm so that looking at the data, we can interpret the data, we can identify the data based on the purpose, whatever is our purpose to look at the data. Correct? Then what do we do with the data? So whenever we're talking about the data science and the statistics and maths and this and that is required. But what are different things we can do on the data? So aggregation and statistics, like on the data warehousing and on all. So aggregation and statistics, maybe when we have a data, we can find out how one particular column or one data is related to another data. What is the aggregation? What is the relation? What are the, how the variables are related to each other, etc., etc. So that comes in the statistics, identifying the behavior. There are certain statistical methods to find out those things. Now, what can we do again is indexing, searching, and querying. So we may find out certain things by putting or writing the query on the data, like a keyword-based search or based on the numbers or the unique IDs or anything. So we can index based on something, we can search something, we can write a query and get the answers. And then pattern matching. So we can find out. So in Google also, sometimes we give certain images and want Google to find out something, or some voice messages, we want to find out the pattern matching related to it, or it can be just the stream or some text, and based on that text we want to search something. Then what is knowledge discovery? So knowledge discovery is you have a large amount of data and you want to find out, like mining something. See, when the earth mining is done, you have a big mine and you go on digging the earth and find out maybe diamonds or maybe certain precious metals or precious stones. So on the pile of dirt, certain things which you are interested is found out. That is data mining. So data mining is also finding out the patterns which are not very, very obvious for human eyes. So if we have something like the girls and the boys and the data, and looking at the data, something as a human being we cannot see through our eyes, which is not very, very obvious. Those things we can identify through certain processes, through certain algorithms. There are certain ways to mine that data. Okay, and that is called the knowledge discovery. So in the knowledge discovery process, data mining is happening, or certain algorithms of data mining are used. So there are certain algorithms for aggregation and statistics and many other statistical methods to dig out the data and come up with certain things. Then indexing, searching, and query. So these are also some steps for processing the data. We have seen the knowledge discovery and data driven. So data driven may, one is a statistical modeling. In the statistical modeling, looking at the data, we try to identify how is the nature, how is the pattern. For example, every 10 years, the population count is done. So it is expected that the next 10 years, what would be the population? What would be the population, urban population, rural population, how would be the things, etc., etc. So there would be some statistical modeling required to model your data. So your data is fit into certain models, and those models and their features can be studied to identify different patterns. And that process is the knowledge discovery. Now in data-driven techniques, so one is a predictive analysis or the predictive analytics. In predictive analytics, learning your data, you try to understand the pattern. And based on that, if this is the pattern your data is showing, how is expected? How your data would behave in your future can be expected. So for example, in the elections, there are polls, the exit polls, and it's also predictive analytics. In exit polls, it takes few voters and the questions are asked based on certain things, and they expect what would be the results. So they are not asking to each and every voter, but some representatives of the voter class is asked, and then they generate their polls. So it is a predictive analytics. So predictive analytics are used, and one is a deep learning. Now, deep learning is a very hot topic nowadays. It's the extension of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science. In that artificial intelligence, there is a machine learning. And in machine learning nowadays, deep learning. So deep learning, you have a huge data, and your deep learning different models are defined on that data, and these deep learning models, DL models, will be finding out the predictions. And the application of deep learning can be anything. So it's boundless. It is in healthcare, it is in everywhere. It is not only restricted to the areas which are related to computer science, it can be used anywhere. Wherever human beings can think of something and wherever there is a data available, we can have the deep learning and machine learning models based on that. Okay. So next 10 years, there would be enormous jobs in data science. So as this is basically for faculty members, you can advise your students that they can take up their career in the data science. So if you are teaching to the mathematics or statistics students, and not only the science students, but anybody can now take up certain courses and can have their careers into data science. So they can become data scientists by having certain skills. So again, revisit the data science. So many things we have already seen. So an area that manages, manipulates, extracts, interpret knowledge from tremendous amount of data is a data science. So we have understood so far now that data science is the area that manages and manipulates the huge amount of data. And data science is a multidisciplinary field. It is a field of a study with a goal to address the challenges in big data. So in data science, what do we study? And we are basically solving the problems and solving the challenges for big data. And data science principle apply to all data, which is a big or small. So if you have certain principles, we have come up with certain principles of the data science that apply to big, small data, means that data is the core. And as having said that the data is core, the data is new oil, and we have to agree that the data is very, very important. Gone are the days when the fuel is important. Nowadays data is important. So मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? मेरे पास data है. So when you say मेरे पास data है, you have got that power now. So data is new oil now. It's a fuel nowadays, because if you see the businesses of Amazon, business of Facebook, business of Walmart, or all those things, it's based on their algorithm, based on their data science. So how does Facebook and Google and all they are earning? So the millions of turnover is due to the data, because they are sitting, these giants are sitting on the huge data. They have a data with them. So again, theories and techniques from many fields and disciplines are used to investigate and analyze the large amount of data to help the decision makers. As in the initial part of this, we have already understood that the decision makers need the data. They want to know what is happening in the reality, and then only they take the decisions. So like many industries such as science, engineering, economics, politics, finance, and education, all that needs the data. So even in the politics, they need the data. So for example, in that particular constitution, how many are the voters, how many ladies, how many gents, how is the distribution, caste wise, religion wise, earning wise, their profession wise, all that matters. So politics is also not left behind. They are also using data science, so that they can come up with the policies and tell the people that, see, this is the policy, because now they know if the people belonging to the Mumbai, they know the people want something for the transportation. So Mumbai people, what are their problems? So these all politicians know how to attract the people, and certain policies can be based on the data analysis. We need to know our customers. So the politics, who's the customer, the people or the voters, right? So basically computer science. So what does computer science contribute into this? So it contributes into pattern recognition, visualization, data warehousing, high performance computing, and databases and artificial intelligence. Now, high performance computing, why do we need high performance computing? Because we have already seen the huge data, the variety of the data and the velocity of the data, because the data keeps coming. By the time we are talking, billions of records are generated, that also we have to process. So that's why we need a high performance computing, so that our devices are having the high computational power. Not only the CPUs are required, the GPUs are required, the TPUs are required, and the speed is required to access, to process the data. So that's why high performance computing. So computer science offers these things, and the databases, the structure, storage structure, retrieval structure, different algorithms, searching, indexing, all that contribution comes from the computer science. And artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will offer you different algorithms to process the data. Now, what comes from the mathematics? So mathematics offers the mathematical modeling. Even though it is a computer science at the base, what do we need? We need the computation. We need modeling certain things. So whenever we are talking about any area, let it be healthcare, let it be patient data, how data is looking, how it is interacting, what all things, whether the columns and the variables are related to each other, whether they are showing the positive correlation, negative correlation, what is the mean, mode, this, that, all that comes from statistics, and certain things come from the mathematics, which is the modeling, making a computational model. Okay. And statistical and stochastic modeling, probability, and reading the data. So this is how data science needs the contribution from computer science, mathematics, and statistics. So again, come back to this same question. What is data science? So it is computational, statistical, and substantive expertise. So finally, it needs experts. Okay. So hacking skills and substantive expertise come together is a dangerous thing. But when hacking skills and maths and statistics and knowledge comes together, it is machine learning. And when substantive expertise, maths, stat together is a traditional research, but everything is required for data science. In a positive way, when everything comes together, it becomes the data science. So in other way around is graphic designers coming from the art, stat nerds coming from the math, and data trolls coming from the data, and all they can make it the complexity artists, then data miners, and GUI programmers, and all together very well paid people if these skills are there. Gardner's hype cycle. Now, whenever there is a new technology, whenever there is a research and something new in the market, what happens? So everything will follow this particular cycle. And this is the cycle. This is the way the particular cycle behaves. This is the way. Now, what is it? So data science. So it starts this innovation trigger. So whenever something starts, it is an innovation trigger. So this is how the new branches or new things, new buzzwords would come in the market. And then here when it reaches, there is a peak That is inflated expectations. This is the inflated expectations and the peak for this. And then out of the disillusionment, then it goes down, disillusion. Then this is the slope of enlightenment, and slowly it will enlight the field, and that is the plateau of the productivity. And here it settles, any technology. So whenever any technology, any new thing comes into the market, it follows this kind of a cycle. Okay, so here is the data science. Still it has to reach to the peak, and here is the big data. Yeah, and how is this? 2 years for innovation, 2 to 5 years for peak, 5 to 10 years for disillusionment, and then more than 10 years for enlightenment, and then obsolete before plateau. We have already understood the data science and all that. So what are the areas? Data engineering, scientific method, math, stat, advanced computing, visualization, hacker mindset, domain expertise, all makes it a data science. So just few examples. Yeah, I'll just go through the second example. 1 million people installed the Omama Facebook app that gave access to the information on friends. So this is just one example from the election point of view. So what do they do? National security, cyber security, business analytics, engineering, healthcare, and many other things. So what can we do with the data? Is a traffic prediction, earthquake warning. Correct? So crowdsourcing, say, plus physical modeling, plus sensing, plus data assimilation to produce certain results, like earthquakes are there or not, etc., and giving the alerts. So this can be one example of the data science. So data analytics has been around for a while. It was there, but now what made it more popular? Because of the volume of the data and the computational devices. So these are certain examples. Prediction model built on the various data sources, types, analysis, the Google Fluid trends. So predicting political campaigns, election outcomes, etc., etc. These are certain examples. Also the prediction of the results of certain games. These are certain headlines related to the data science. Yeah. Now PageRank. The web as a behavioral data set. Now, just one example here, one case study. Suppose this is a PageRank algorithm. Now, those who do not know the details of the website or something, see, when we are opening a website for any organization, it can be your college, it can be any industry or anything. So what happens? You have a main page. If you know the URL, you will click on the URL. Just show you here. So for example, this is the main page of any website, and on the main page, suppose there is a link to one particular page and the name of the page is A, and if there is a link from page A which goes back to main page, then there would be like this kind of association between the main page and another page where there is a link from going from one main page to another page. Suppose this is another page from A, you may go to 2-3 pages, for example. From A, say you go to B, C, D, then it can be shown like this. And if there is no way from B to A, so after reading that web page, which is a B page, if you cannot go anywhere, then that is a dead end. From C, it is possible that there's a link from C to D, then it would be like this. From D to, if you can go to main, means if there are links present on your web page of your organization or any X organization, if this is the different pages and this is the link, then how would be the flow of the people? How would you engage people on your website? Okay, so that is the page rank and the web as a behavioral data set. Now, even if you consider this as different pages, or these are different websites, or this ABCD can be represented by anything. It may be one organization ka many pages, and how these pages are interlinked, or how customers are moving from one social media to another social media. So it can be represented like this. And this percentage are like there's a possibility, or the customers are moving from B to C, how they are spending their time, what they are doing. That will be beneficial for the industries or those who want their customers to engage on that. So for example, you are on Amazon and you are looking at many products. You may be wondering that one day if you're buying bed sheets and you are looking at different bed sheets, next day when you log into that, again Amazon, it will show you few more bed sheets, or this particular item you have viewed yesterday, it is available. If there is anything related to that item, it will be shown. So how does it come? So it comes through the recommendation. So there are certain recommendation algorithms beside this Amazon which is playing. And we are the users. It is observing the user. So for example, if I'm looking at certain bed sheets, so I would be tagged, I would be profiled. So those algorithms in those giants, they have algorithms to identify the customer. So if I'm doing certain surfing on Amazon and I'm looking at different products, it will check my status as, or it will profile me. It is called the user profiling. So I'm a woman. So they will understand, okay, woman of age 45 plus. And if I'm looking at the bed sheets, they will identify that I'm looking for certain decor items. Then if I have purchased certain products, they will identify, okay, this my interest is like this. Then maybe I would like something like the other ladies who were interested in the product, they liked this bedsheet, so it is possibility that I also like that bedsheet. So that is a recommendation system they are generating. So this is how they are engaging the customers, identifying the customers, and this data is generated. So looking at the behavior, they are not asking me about my data, but it is observed. So these social media websites or any website, it may be an e-commerce website, the data is generated. The data is generated, certain things are produced and identified. They will not ask me what is my free time when I am doing this web surfing, but they will see my logs. What time I am searching for, buying something. Okay, 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 is the lunch time. Maybe that time she is free and she is looking at what I can buy. So my profile would be listed like that. So this is what automatically, or you can say, behind the scene or behind the curtain, these things are happening. So different algorithms are working. They're identifying the people, the target audience. You may be receiving many calls now and then. The home loan is available, personal loan is available. Are you interested in this property, that property? How come they know your certain things? Because you may have served a site, or you may have given feedback somewhere, you may have visited some exhibition, etc., etc. Or you are the data. The data is sold to some organization, so that that organization is looking at you, they're ready to give you loan. Why? Based on certain parameters, they must have found out that yes, this person is a salaried person, maybe his profile is this much, how much he is paying the bills, how much electricity being paid every time properly without a defaulter thing. So this person is profiled as he can be a potential person to avail the loan. So they may be giving you, offering you the loans for buying the cars, etc., etc. So these all are different algorithms. At the core, they are looking or having those predictive analytics so that they can tap customers. Okay, so our behavioral analysis is done at the backside. They will not ask you what is your free time, where you go home, what is your office address, because we are logging into different media, social media. They know where you stay, where you go, what time you are taking Ola, which is your preferred route, what are the things you are buying, what are the things you are giving the feedbacks, who are your friends, who are your dearest friends, because you are liking all the time. Your friend is uploading a photo in Facebook, you are liking. Okay, so they established a relationship. Yeah, you are always writing the comment. Okay, so all that data is being analyzed, being stored, looking at your behavioral analysis, you are used as a data. So we all are the data for them. We are the guinea pigs for them. We have many other things to look at. So concentration in data sciences, mathematics, applied mathematics, we have already seen. Applied statistics offers us data analysis. Solid programming skills are required, like R, Python, Julia, SQL, data mining, RDBMS or DBMS, and machine learning and discovery. So these are the area of concentration. I'll skip few slides so that we can go to the applications. Organizers.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we extend for some more time?
Yes,
or minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Then sir will join a little bit late. You can continue, ma'am.
Yeah, you let me know when to stop so that I will continue.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. Okay.
Sure. I think I must go to now data science applications. So I'll leave those case studies and move to the data science applications. Yeah. So data science applications related to ML, DM, and other areas. So we need to look at the data so that we can work for security, and which will take care of the terrorism. So looking at the profiles, looking at people, looking at their behavior, we can identify, and data science can help in this particular area. Then sports. How data science plays the role in the sports. So for example, if the match is going on, it can record the things. For example, the many analytics or many analytical people are available for forecasting the crickets. So they watch the game, they see, and they actually digitize those things. So matches are digitized, and it is identified that how this player will play, how this player will throw the ball, how this particular player will bat it, and where is the probability that ball will go in which place, etc. So there are analytical things, analytics apps, and there are many services available for even for sports, and different sports for many features. Banking and finance. We have already seen one example where now and then you're getting the calls. So data science can work in many ways in banking and finance. Then, for example, you're getting call for certain policies, for health policies, etc. So how do they calculate whether this particular customer is a potential customer or not? So there are certain algorithms, they have certain benchmarks, they have certain checklists. If you fit into that checklist, and it is not very obvious, It is identified through certain behavior, through certain observation, through certain other calculations and analytics. They identify the list of the customers that this is the potential customer. How would be the portfolio? How would be different products are doing, etc., etc. Okay. Then one more thing is the internet search. You may be wondering that whenever you write a search, there are certain things based on the priorities, the searches are listed. That also come into the data science. For example, certain searches are the sponsored searches. Meaning is you want to find out something on the net and you place one, a query into it. You type some words and enter. Then what should be listed? So what should be your top 10 searches? What should be your top N searches? It needs high computation. Now, how here they see if I'm looking at something and they know my profile as a teacher, I may be interested in something whose meaning is related to something to the education industry or something like that. So based on my profile, my searches will be given to me. If you are searching something or if a layman is searching something, the searches would be different. Because that search has got an algorithm which has many parameters. Parameters about my portfolio, parameter about where do I stay and what is the location when I'm writing the search. If sitting in India and sitting in Mumbai, I'm writing my search, the results would be different than a person who is sitting in US and writing that search, or a person who is in the village, a remote area and writing the search. Okay, so based on the user, based on the content, based on what all I have searched in my history. So what are my topics which I'm visiting very frequently? What are those websites which I'm interested in? I'm checking those websites. I'm follower of something. So based on many more things, the algorithms are run and the searches are given. Okay? So that also uses data science. Then the digital advertisements. You all know whenever you are watching a YouTube video or something, your YouTube video may be related to any topic, any video based on a topic where a teacher is teaching some concept. When a student is watching that video, the advertisements would be played, digital advertisements or digital marketing. When a student is watching the same video, different products advertisements would be flashed. When we as a teacher, I'm looking the same video, maybe different products would be flashed, correct? Because I'm a different customer. I'm tagged as a woman, female, 45 plus teacher. A student who is 20, he may be a customer for certain fashion products. I may be a customer of a home decor products, like that. So that way, based on my interest, based on my portfolio, based on what I have bought earlier, what I have recommended to others, what I have liked, what kind of a feedback I have given to other products would be found out. And who does this? Maybe the algorithm. So data science algorithm, this digital marketing strategies would decide what products to be flashed when I am watching a video, correct? Or if I'm surfing Amazon, similar products would be given to me. And the products, maybe the fashion products given to the youngsters. We have already seen the recommender system. How does a recommender system work? Which gives the recommendation for a particular user based on certain analytics. If you have liked one movie of particular kind of a genre, you have liked and you have recommended to others, it means you are the person who likes that genre. And maybe there is another person who likes that genre. Maybe whatever movie you like next time would be recommended to another person, thinking that your interests are similar, so likings would be similar. So that's how the recommender system works. So that also comes under the data science. And recommender system is not for Netflix or for the movie recommendation. It can be for anything. So recommender systems can be anything. Maybe if you consider Shadi.com, they're also recommender systems. Some meeting apps where girls get certain recommendation, boys get certain recommendation based on their own portfolio. So these are the recommender systems working for anything. You just name the thing and there would be a recommender system either already built or being built. Image processing. Image processing, I must tell you that it has now reached to the 99.9 accuracy. Through the deep learning algorithms, the image processing, the speech recognition and image recognition has achieved its peak now. This is used in self-car driving systems, you know, the Tesla cars. It uses that. Nowadays, certain cars are available where the screen of the car, and if you just see the window, the glass, that also has the image processing and image recognition system, where a kid can just tap on the car, that particular glass, and outside of that, if there is a tree, that glass will display tree. So it can also teach kids who are sitting inside the car. Okay, so this image processing, how does it work? It works on deep learning models, and deep learning is a very niche area of artificial intelligence, which works on several algorithms and tries to mimic the human behavior. The way we are recognizing certain objects based on what we have learned since we have taken birth, we go on learning something. We identify the pictures, we identify flowers, we identify everything in the world. Correct? Based on our own knowledge, based on how we have groomed in these years. So same way, the deep learning models are groomed to look at the data. First, they are trained. In the training, thousands and the millions of the records are fed to it. A machine learning model is built, and out of that, it gets the ability to identify the images. It correctly identify the images. And now that has not only reached to the identifying just the image, but it can look at the entire scene, and it can also say that what the girl is doing in that. If the small girl is jumping, that image will not only identify that this is the girl, but the girl with red frock is jumping. This kind of a thing can be given as output. Means along with natural language processing, it will describe the scene. Okay, so this is the image processing now. Nowadays, that also uses the data science, deep learning, image processing, and the niche area of artificial intelligence. Speech recognition, you know, no? You can put a search, and there's a woman who will help you out, who recognizes your speech. And who's that? Any participant? Alexa, you know? Alexa is a very good example of the speech recognition.
Siri is there, no?
Yes, Siri is also there. Yes, yes. So it recognizes, and Siri also recognizes anybody in the world, whether your way of speaking is Indianized or you're using the accent, which is a British accent or the US accent. It recognizes the proper words, right? So speech recognition also a data science application. Now, not only just giving you the searches, but chatbots are there. Chatbots may be used not only for giving the text input, but you may ask question to the chatbot, and chatbots are now replacing the call centers. So this is all happening because of the data science and artificial intelligence used together. So there are chatbots everywhere. Your institutes may be having chatbot on their website. Everybody is now having a chatbot, where the chatbot is the first place you ask your questions, maybe textual questions or speech questions or anything, and it replies you. It processes behind based on the data given to the chatbot, and it replies. So speech recognition is one of the application, and it is now changing the industry, what it was there earlier, because now the call centers would be going. Again, the translation. So translation is used to be a profession, but now the text translation, and not only the text translation, but speech recognition, recognizing the speech and translating into another language and giving the speech in the another language. So that has gone to that level. So translator, a profession has gone now. We don't need any translator. Even if we are going in another country whose language is different that we don't know, we can only have a mobile and having that app which could translate your language, who can translate not only the text, not only the voice, but images also. So whatever is written in the image, then the gaming, AR, VR, price comparison websites. So this is all data science. When you are buying a policy, everybody tells that you have to compare the policies, you have to compare the products. So that all are the data science applications. Airline routing planning, that comes under data science based on the data. Fraud and risk detection. So based on the behavior, as we have seen, how is the behavior of the customer, can identify the fraud risk detection, which is again a area of the data science. Delivery logistics, Amazon or Zomato, Swiggy, how the packets are delivered in less time because the shelf life of the product is very less. The logistics and the supply chain management together is properly managed so that the person who is coming to give you delivery will also reach in an optimum way. The maps are also worked. How is the map? How a person can deliver through Zomato so that you can eat your food when it is hot. Internet of Things, all the devices connected, and all that information, whatever devices are generating, can be interlinked to each other and can be mined and come up with the inferences and the patterns so that the other areas can use it. Healthcare. Nowadays, you don't need, for many applications, the doctor to be there. So looking at the images, looking at the data generated by the test. So data of a patient, there are intelligent algorithms who will detect the tumors, who will detect whether there is a diabetes or not, or different diagnoses based on the patient records. So these models are pre-trained models who are able to diagnose based on the images or based on the records or based on anything. So whatever is the test. Augmented reality. So this is one augmented reality, AR, VR, self-driving cars, Look at the, how that works. It works on the real-time data. It sends the data, it sends the speed, it sends the speed breaker, it sends the things around the car, and then certain algorithms are worked whether the speed to be increased or brake to be applied or how. Okay, so self-driving car is one of the area where a lot of data is gathered and the quick decisions are taken. A decision taken, late will not work. If you see a horse running in front of your car, the brake has to be applied immediately. So you cannot take that, granted to take the decision later, like the human being works when he drives the car. So that immediately it should work and take the decision. So that ability has to be there. The processing power has to be there. And it's an electromechanical device finally, means that there's a system who takes decision, but the brake are applied, so that integrated things are done based on the decisions. But these decisions are again based on the data. So it's a core is the data. robots. We have already talked about the robots. Nowadays, not only it is speaking. There's one robot who came to VGTI, who came to Mumbai in these few years back before the lockdown. Anyone? In the VGTI and IIT Tech Fest that came and had a conversation with the students. Any participant knows? And that robot has got that citizenship also. Anyone? Guesses? So robots nowadays not only speaking, understanding your question, because when it listens the question, it is speech recognition. When it responds, it frames a particular statement and speaks. So framing the answer or framing of one particular sentence is a NLP. Understanding the audio is a speech recognition. And nowadays robots can show the facial expressions. Yeah, so this is my question and you have to tell me which is that robot who shows this facial expression. Actionable insights. Now this is another area. Actionable insights means when you are diagnosing or when you are doing something using data science, how did it happen? Or giving the insights and also giving the reasons why it has gone to that particular interpretation or insight. Then saving energy, that can be one of the area. Now I'll wind it up fast away. Data-driven hospitals, value-based care. So based on the data, hospitals, certain unit can be automized. So in cleaner environment, you may be having IoT devices, mounted everywhere, and those IoT devices keep on giving you the data about the oxygen level, data about the carbon level, data about the humidity, data about the pollution, data about anything, sound pollution, etc., etc. And the data which is generated every pico-nanosecond, that can come as a big data, and that big data can be processed and different graphs are drawn. So on the screen, you just see the levels. How is the humidity going? How is the, different parameters of the environments are moving. So data science, this is another area for that. I just keep a few things. So consider solutions to real world problems that you encounter, finding out the solutions and finding out the avenues how data science society can work for those problems. Okay. So what have we done? What have we seen? Data science helps brands to understand their customers in much enhanced and empowered manner. So this can be one of the outcome of the data science. It allows brands to communicate their story in such a engaging and powerful manner, means content creation. So data science is also empowered to create the content for different brands. And big data is a new field that constantly growing and evolving. So still it is evolving. It has to reach to that peak. So results can be applied to almost any sector like travel, healthcare, education. Data science is accessible to almost all sectors. I think, yeah, organizers, can we stop because...
Yes, ma'am. I was just to interrupt you. Sir has joined last 10 minutes. Wait, ma'am, you can wind the.
Yes. So I'll just go to the last. Data science related to social media, smart home devices. So these are all the application, creative arts, security, surveillances. Then Ola, Uber, you know how they are doing the business based on the data science. So these are certain facts about Ola, Uber. Recommendation system we have already seen. Yeah, who's he? Any participant? Can you recognize? Anyone? Elon Musk, SpaceX, Tesla, correct? Founder and CEO at Tesla, self-driving cars and all that, SpaceX, different missions. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we can have a discussion.
Any questions, participants? You can put your question in the chat box. We'll refer from there and accordingly ma'am will reply.
Yes, that is also possible. And even if you can compile the questions and send me back, because 5 days participants are with you, yes, I may reply you back the questions whatever way.
Ma'am, only one question I have. Will you be sharing this PPT with us?
Yes, I will share, definitely.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. So, okay, ma'am, thank you so much for having you with us. The session was very informative and it was very interactive session by the participants. So I thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation. The entire session was very nicely put up by you on the topic data science and applications. I hope most of them have and all of them have got so much from the session, ma'am. Thank you so much. And also I would like to—
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. Also,
Thanks
I wanted
a lot,
to extend special thanks to our coordinator, StarDBT team, who have supported us for arranging this FDP and all the sessions under different resource persons. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, organizers, for giving me the opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you, all participants.
Thanks, ma'am. Good afternoon, all the participants. Good afternoon, Hirendan sir. Good afternoon, Dr. Hirendan sir. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Sir also said good afternoon.
Unfortunately, there is electricity in college. I said good afternoon. Yeah, I said in my college there is no electricity, so I'm connected to my mobile, but we'll continue with the session.
Okay, till the time, sir, we start with your introduction.
Yeah, please, we'll start the session also. No problem.
Okay, sir, little bit introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining on the first day of the 5 days FDP for an session to data analytics and the applications. I'll just start with this quote. The principal goal of an education is to create a man who are capable of doing the new things, not simply of repeating what other generations have done. A man who are creative, innovative, and rediscovered. With this quote, it's my great pleasure to welcome our today's speaker of an session 2 of day 1, Dr. Hirendan. He is a man, philosopher, mentor. What should I say about him? He is a guide. He is a head of the department of an IT at an MCC College, Mulund. He is also a part of the BOS at the different autonomous colleges and also at our HSNCU University for BSCIT and the MSCIT department. The sir is a guide for the PhD students at an JJTU University, Rajasthan. Sir is also part of the syllabus committee, core committee, examination committee at the different university levels. He has published more than 50 papers into the national international journals. And he also author of the number of our IT books. We are referring sir book to guide our students. And I also proudly say the sir has been awarded Lifetime Education Achievement Award for his outstanding achievements and the remarkable role in the field of education. So, participants, without waiting for any further, let us please welcome our resource person of a session 2, Dr. Hiren Dan sir. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. And I just want to mention the sir is our star scheme IT department mentor. On and in every step, he guided us what type of the sessions, arranging the resource person, and this overall FTP organizing participation and how to organize this entire 5-day series is only because of an sir help only. I am very much thankful to Dr. Hirendan, sir. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Varkha, for wonderful introduction.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm your student. I'm very proudly say I'm the dancer student. Thank you, sir.
Very nice to see, colleagues, students progressing and becoming colleagues. It has been really good. For so many years, I've seen you teaching in various places, and now finally, for so many years at KC College, and now KC College and HNNC University. So, good evening, participants. I would like to thank HNNC University Principal Dr. Hemlata Bagla, the coordinator of IT department, and Dr. Rakhi Gupta, the organizer of the event, Ms. Pragati Thawani, and I think from computer science, I think Ms. Agita Brijwani is there, and all my dear colleagues and all the participants. I think in participants also a lot are from IT teachers and of course from
yes, our teachers are there, Rakhi ma'am, Purnima, Sheetal ma'am, all our. Thank you so much, all the teachers for joining this session.
Yeah, good. And I think there are people from other streams also, those who have joined. So today, in this session, I'll be covering Microsoft Excel and how we can use Microsoft Excel for a research purpose. We have been using Excel extensively, those who are from IT, of course, and even non-IT, even from, financial background also, we extensively use Excel. So how we use Excel and how we can use it more for data analysis and in our research work also. So when we start the Excel, this is the first screen that we get. Of course, those who already know might find little elementary, but I'll start from elementary and then we'll proceed towards advanced Excel. So this is the first screen that we get. Here we have a rows and columns, horizontally rows and vertical columns are there. The rows are number 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and columns are A, B, C, D and so on. So it is going to be there as every year with the new Excel versions, the number of rows and columns keep on extending. So at one time there were 255 columns and 65536 rows, and now it goes on increasing. So the one which I'm showing you is the latest one. It is Excel 365, and as it is cloud-based, so it keeps on updating itself. Whenever new updates come, new things keep on coming. Now we think that, okay, research, I was there in the previous session also, and we had, a lot of ideas Madam gave about artificial intelligence and how things have changed, what the research is all about. So here, research is nothing but research. Whatever is there, we search again and we find out different aspect of the same thing, which others have not thought about. When we do that, and we have a lot of research related to data collections. All the research related to data collection, we need to process the data. Of course, there are standard tools like SPSS, then Madam already told you about R, Python, widely used programming languages for research. But our very own simple Excel is very powerful, and a lot of things we can do using Excel. What we can do using Excel? So we'll see. So there is a row and a column, the intersection of row and column. is known as a cell. So this is a cell where I have clicked.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, this is Geeta. I think your screen is stuck up because we are not able to see the Excel sheet. It's just
I will
only-
share again.
Yeah.
I'll share again. Yeah. Can you see the Excel sheet now?
Yes, yes, sir. No, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, columns are A, B, C, D. Rows are 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. In between, because I am from mobiles, if anything gets stuck, just let me know. In case if at all it gets disconnected because of mobile, I'll immediately reconnect. Or if anything is there, I'll just give a call. But things are working smooth as of now. So this is a cell. Now, first, it's a very simple thing for those who are not from IT. We'll see what is autofill. We can do autofilling of. For example, we want to have numbers. Very simply, we can have numbers 1, 2, 3 a type. And if I drag up to say 25, automatically it fills 25. Same way we can fill with odd numbers, even numbers 1, 3. 2 I write, and because it is odd, automatically it will take odd numbers, even numbers. Just and see, as soon as we go to the end, right hand corner, the arrow changes. The cursor changes from this fat arrow to this thin arrow. Then we can also fill for months. If I write January and if I drag it up to 12, automatically it is filled. If I write only abbreviations, Jan, Feb, it will fill in 3-letter abbreviation only. Day of week, if I write full Monday. So, such standard things can be easily filled. This is autofill feature of Excel, where you write 1 or 2 fields and then go to the right-hand corner of that cell and just drag it. Once you drag it, you get complete autofilled. If it is more, if I drag again, it will start from Monday. If I drag down, again, it will start from Monday. Here, if I drag down, it will again start from January. Here, again, January. Keeps on starting and repeating. So this type of feature is known as autofill. We get a lot of data nowadays. Data collection has become very easy. If you want to collect data, we just create a Google form. The data of Google form is automatically loaded to Google Sheets. And once data is on Google Sheet, we can download as Excel and do a lot of manipulation, whatever we want to think. Otherwise, everything happens through Excel. We can do that through Excel. Now, automatically Google form gives graphs, but if you want to build some more graphs, we can always use that. While writing research paper or while writing thesis, when we need tabulated values and we need graphs, Excel becomes very handy. Excel becomes very handy. So we can get the details and graphical representation of the data very easily. Graphical representation becomes very, very easy. We'll see how to do that graph also. Okay. Then we have some functions like H-lookup and Vlookup. We already have been having these functions for horizontal lookup and for vertical lookup. Many times we might need data, in different way, and from based on the what data it is, we can find out the other data. So how do we do that? They are known as standard lookup reference functions. And suppose we have I will open a sheet 2. Suppose this is a given table. This is the data. And we want to fill this type of data into other places. Looking up this table, we want to find out the price of all these items. This table we can call as Vlookup. Now we are going to use vertical lookup to fill the product in these column next to ID. Depending on the ID, it will fill the product automatically. Let us see. Here we have product. Now, because we have the table on the right hand side, we want to do Vlookup and fill on this column product. Like for example, 104 is HP printer. 103 is Logitech. 104 is SP, and so on. Have a look at this. We are going to fill this product column using this table. So we have a function. Let me just, I think I will have to paste that function in Word, Notepad, so that I can expand and show you the function. So here we can write equal to what type of lookup it is. We are using Vlookup, so we will have Vlookup. Equal to Vlookup, lookup value. We want to look up this, comma, table array from here to here. Comma, which column number we want to return. So we want to return column 2. So we say 2. Value of column 2 will be returned. And we don't want further anything. So if we close, it should come HP. Now I'm going to drag it. But all values won't come. I'll tell you why. See, I dragged. So it gave me HP, Logitech HP. Now what was the problem here? The problem here is why it took like this. Because when we drag, here see here written the formula. I am pasting the formula in the notepad. And I'm going to share the notepad so it becomes more clear. notepad. Let me share this. So here it is Vlookup A3. Lookup value is A3, lookup A3 from E6 to G9 and return column 2 from E6 to G9. Whichever is the column 2, you return that. When
Sir,
we write this down,
sir, participants are telling they are not able to see the notepad, only Excel sheet is visible.
Is the notepad visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So this was our formula. We look up A3, E6 to G9, 2. Means lookup value when where to look up from E6 to G9 and 2. The column, second column we need to return. So second column was del. So it returned del. Now when we drag this, what happens? It becomes, next when we drag, A3 will become A4, E6 will become E7, G9 will become G10. But we don't want that. We want it to remain constant. We want it to remain constant. Because we want it to remain constant, what we do, we put a dollar sign. When we put dollar sign, things will remain same. Again, going back to Excel. We want A3 to change from E6 to E9. Now we, because we are dragging it vertically, we can just put $6. So $6. It is E6 G9. We put $6 G$9. Now if we drag, what happens? The formula remains the same. So we look up A3 in E$6 G2D$9. Now because we have put dollar sign, we cannot have this getting on and down. So it always remains constant. So here it is, if you see here, see the address bar, E6 to 9, G9, E6 to G9, because of dollar sign. So whenever we want it to remain constant, we should put dollar sign. The column, that value will remain constant. So when we drag, otherwise what happens? It keeps on increasing. E6, E7, E8, E9, G9, G10, G11, G12. But then that will not fetch because that rows are blank. So that is why it gave us blank values. Now, on similar lines, we will see H lookup. In H lookup, what happens? The given table will be slightly different. Same table, but now we will use for Lookup. The alignment of input table given will be slightly different in Lookup. Here it was this horizontal table. Yeah, this is the horizontal table. Now I want the values here from this horizontal table. So instead of VLOOKUP, what we do, because it is horizontal, this is the number of rows 10848576. Rows are there. Now, if we want horizontally, so what we will do, we'll be changing slightly here. This was VLOOKUP, we will change it to HLOOKUP. So we'll see here equal to A3 is the lookup value that is correct. Now the range will change. Range will be now from here to here. F12 to I14. What we need to return is the second row. We want to return the third column because it is F12 to F14. HLOOKUP, lookup column, array, return value. At the most, we can give false. Okay. So here we have one second. Let's A4, A3, F12, 14. Now, anyway, this comes, there's some. Now, both this formula of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, in the new version, they have changed to XLOOKUP. There we don't need to worry. Now, here, what is the problem with VLOOKUP? That we can select from the left-hand side only. That column where to look up should be on the left-hand side. In HLOOKUP, it should be at the top. New function XLOOKUP, it makes our life much simpler. How is that function? XLOOKUP. This value equal to is missing. equal to X lookup. Lookup value, this one. Lookup array. So we look up anywhere here. We'll put $sign and we want to return this array. Again, when we drag, from here it becomes no value. So what we do in order to change, we put $. HV we need to change. $. A3 comma. $, के बाद comma है, we need to change that. And now if we drag, yes, why it has gone to enroll and all that? Because these values have changed, so we don't want them to change. So we'll put like this. Otherwise, see here it is G6, 9, 7, 10. We don't want that to change also. So G should 6 should remain $6. This is the most powerful tool of Excel 365, that is XLOOKUP. In XLOOKUP, we have the functionality of both VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So both ways we have this and it works fine. XLOOKUP. Okay. Now, when we have collected data from people, when we collect a lot of data from people, I'm generating random numbers because I cannot get the data, so I'm using ran between function. Suppose marks of 25 students turn out something like this. Of one subject, any one subject. Marks out of 75 we have taken. One issue with this is what, the moment we do something, this values keep on changing. So if we have already inserted this value, we can go back, right click and paste values. If we paste values, then now these values won't change because we have taken up the values and now these are common values. So we have values. So now we will see, suppose we make mistake while entering. Now this was 75, we have entered out of 75. So if something, I took, I think between 35 and 100 I took. So we assume if 40 is passing, any mark less than 40 is failed. Then we go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. See, there are a lot of conditions: greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains and so on. So we want marks less than 40 to be highlighted. Highlight cell rules less than. less than 40. Dark fill. Why did I bring them? In this, we can give the condition and okay. The two students who are failing or getting less than 40 marks. Out of 100, we counted, that is 40. With 29 and 37, remaining all passed out. Remaining all everyone passed out. So this way it helps us to check the values. If there is an error, we can use conditional formatting. And with the help of conditional formatting, we can detect the data. Many times what happens when we want to have a lot of data we have and we want to have a lot of data, we want to find out outliers and all, then we could have used outliers. Then we can do this conditional formatting. When we collect data also, we know when in data collection, outliers play a very important role. A simple example of outlier, what happens? For example, we are trying to compute some, this one, our income level. And suppose we are taking somewhere in US near Seattle where Bill Gates stays, and we try to find out the average income of that. Now, if we start doing that, what happens? That Bill Gates has very high income. Other people might not be having even 50% income of that. But while calculating, if Bill Gates' income is taken into picture, everything average will come somewhere in between. For example, other people's income is between 0 and 10, and Bill Gates is 100. So what will happen? The average will shift outside 0 to 10 only because of one income bit. So in that case, Bill Gates' income can be treated as outlier. Bill Gates' income can be treated as outlier. Someone said that, but I was showing the example, let's look up what was missing. Again, because we don't want it to change, we can put dollar signs. If we put it both the places, both won't change. Otherwise, wherever we put dollar sign, it keeps on changing. So we should consider outliers. That we don't consider, we should find out outliers so that in our normal calculation, these outliers don't affect our data. Because that part of data like which is showing outliers is something like junk data. It is something like junk data. We don't want that type of data in our calculations. When you're talking about all these things, once again, I will give another example, of course, little outside Excel. But what I'll give that example later, because if at all my laptop is charged, but if at all it gets stopped, then Or continue. It's me. Yeah, sorry, I had got disconnected. I have connected again. I'm again just sharing the sheet. Yes. Yeah. So now, if we have to analyze the data, we need to install analysis tool pack. When I go to my data, we can see a data analysis. Now we have to, for this to come, by default, it doesn't come. We have to, this is an add-in, Excel add-in. So we can easily add. It is there in Excel, but to add that, when we go to, this file in options, of course, on slightly different version, it will be available at different places. But in options, we have add-ins. In add-ins, somewhere you will get options. You will have add-ins option in that analysis tool pack. We select that and say go. And it asks us to select, and we can say, okay, by it already installed, so I'm just canceling it. Analysis tool pack. Now I have here 25 values. In our analysis, we need to find some average and everything of data. So I want to do data analysis. What all things we can do in data analysis? If you see, you will see that, okay, so many features are available in Excel. What all types of data analysis? Those who have already worked with data in SPSS and do a lot of these things, let us see what all automatic things available with Excel. So we have ANOVA single factor, ANOVA two factor with replication, without replication, correlation, covariance, descriptive statistics, exponential smoothing, F-test, two sample mean for variances, Fourier analysis, histogram, moving average, random number generation, rank and percentile, regression, sampling, t-test pad, two sample for means, t-test, two sample assuming equal variances, t-test, two sample using unequal variances, z-test, two sample for means. We know t-test we use for smaller data around 30. And if it is larger data, then we go to z-test. And all these are available very simple. For those who understand simple things, I'm going to show descriptive statistics. For this type of data, we want to generate descriptive statistics. So input range, we select our range. We have selected the range. Output range, we want it here only. Let us get the output here. Not a new worksheet. Confidence level at 95% confidence level or 5% significance level. Summary statistics we want. Yes, we want summary statistics. And then when we say okay, within a fraction of a second, we got a lot of data calculated already. We have got mean, standard deviation, median, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, simple variance, kurtosis, skewness, range, minimum value, maximum value, sum of all, count, and confidence. Level 95%. And without doing any of the other things, we could easily get that. Nowadays, things have become so simple. Data collection has become very easy because of different types of forms, WhatsApp, internet. So you can just send a link, people will fill the data. Once you get the data in Google form or in Microsoft or whichever form you prefer, most of them will allow you to download as Excel. Once you download as Excel, Then we can do any type of manipulation in Excel we want. So here, in simple words, we got descriptive statistics of data. There was not much hassle to do that. Yes, all statistical data in single click. Okay. Then data analysis. So whatever you need, we can do. A lot of things automatically, just in a single click, we can run the test. Next. What we do while entering the data itself also, we may need that we will have some things which are not connected, or error data in error we will have to do. We have a lot of things. For example, we want to have, we do some type of validation while entering data itself. How to do validation? If we are entering data and we know that we have collected many times, still very less, but still manual forms are there, and we will do data entry. So if we want to do some type of validation, we can go to this data. In all these forms also, we have settings that we may increase or decrease, we want to allow single entry or we may allow multiple entry. If we have allowed multiple entries and if you want to remove duplicates, this is the thing. We select the data and there is an option in data tab, remove duplicates. It removes all the duplicates. When you will ask us if the column there headers, what all things you want to check if it is duplicate, because sometimes name can exist many times. But if name and phone number or email all are same, then duplicate data. Then remove that data, delete duplicates. Now we will see this data validation for a cell, single cell. What type of value you want to allow? Any value we want a whole number. Minimum between, say, 5 and 10. Input message, title IM, input message, enter the number of glasses of water you take. If there is an error alert, stop. Enter the correct value. Here, see here, message. Any number of glasses of water you take, I entered 2. The moment I press enter, it doesn't accept. Enter the correct value. Retry. So we enter 5. If we enter 5, so when we enter that 5, it is accepted. If you want it to for multiple columns, we don't want 5. So here we can enter 10. Let us take, there we have again two error because we selected all those rows. Wherever there was error, it will not allow us to enter. So such type of validation can be kept for checking. If there are error data, the data is errors, it will immediately give us the correction that you have made an error, kindly correct the error. You have made an error, kindly correct the error. So that is about validation. Then next. Validation. Next sheet I will go. I'm sure most of you might be knowing how to make charts, but I'll just show. All different types of charts are available for different types of data. We'll see that. Before that, let me check about various financial functions are available. That also you could use. Say this is the financial functions which are available, because a lot of you might be working with financial data. So if you want to use a lot of functions, Excel itself is a big thing that none of us use extensively every function of Excel. We don't use every function of Excel. So there are a lot of functions. Depending on our use, we may use different types of functions. Math functions, text functions, date and time, lookup and reference, math and trigonometric. There are more functions with which we have statistical functions where we have a lot of statistics. Someone has sent a message. So a lot of statistical functions also. Engineering functions, Jacobians and all that, cube. So functions are available. We can use them. So I was talking about charts and graphs. What type of charts and graphs we can use? For example, we have simple data for rainfall data. We can construct simple bar charts for them. I'll just feed in the data, some random data. I'll just paste the data. While preparing thesis or or research paper, whatever charts and anything that we obtained from this, it helps us in representing our paper in a very nice way, and we don't need to outsource. Many people outsource because they are not able to work with that. So then, we will have to have this data. On our own, we can generate good charts and everything. Let us see now. In our insert tab, we have this charts. We want to select this type of data. See the amount of intelligence that is being built into systems these days. So for our type of data, it is recommended this type of charts. Clustered column chart, line chart, stacked column chart, stacked area, scatter, stacked column, bubble, and funnel chart. All types of charts they have included here. They have suggested. We can decide our own chart. We can go and decide, suppose we want this type of chart. We can decide we want this type of chart. this type of chart. And that also, after selecting chart, there are different options of colors with the different background to make it look very elegant. So we have Jan, Feb, March. Automatically, it has taken, the legend. Bears, dolphins, whales. Chart title, it is editable, we can edit it and it comes. So this is how simple chart has been generated. If we only select like this, and if you see recommended charts, see pie chart, it is recommending. If the data was not suitable for pie chart, it did not recommend. So here we have pie, and there are 3D pie chart, everything is there. We could use that also. Pie chart is there. And that type of chart, there is like this, we can have background. Automatically, it has taken the titles and the legend. So a lot of different types of charts which are available. We can easily use them. And it makes our representation, our paper, our thesis more attractive. Okay. Next. Otherwise, I'm not discussing about simple functions of sum and, where sum, average, because they are normally we do it. And easily we could comment it. Now I'm going to enter some data. Name. And I want to enter subject 1. 5 subjects I will take: subject 2, subject 3, subject 4. And I will enter some numbers. 5 users I take: A, B, C, D, E. And I enter marks, Between 25 and 75. And this I'm going to have it everywhere. And you see, when I do this way, it keeps on changing. The moment I did something, it went on changing. So what I will do, if I want to avoid that, I just copy it and paste values. There at the same place, paste values. Okay. Now, since pasted values, anyone, this is all after 75 marks we have taken. We want to total it. So we total, or we can give a sum. Automatically it takes. A lot of intelligence is being built into systems every day. When you type email also, Madam must have already spoken about in AI. When you type email also, the moment you type something, good, it will automatically give you salutation because it knows that you have typed and you are going to wish. If you write, please find attached, or you just say PFA. And then if you don't attach and you send the email, then what happens? It says, that if you have sent the email, you have not attached anything. Do you want to attach anything? A lot of intelligence is being built. I have to type result. Now, if a person has passed in all the 5 subjects, then only we declare pass. Otherwise, we result as fail. Though we see the minimum marks here, I can see 28, which is less than 30. So because it is less than 30, the student will be declared as fail. Because when we say out of 75, also we need the person to pass. So how do we declare the result? We have a nice statement, if. Now we want to say, what is the passing criteria? If subject 1 marks is more than 30, more than equal to 30, and subject 2 marks is more than equal to 30, and subject 3 marks is more than equal to 30, and so on. If all are more than equal to 30, then the student has passed. Otherwise, the student has failed. So I put logical test. If and what? This greater than equal to 30 and 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 this greater than equal to 30. Then pass. Else fail. Here I have to close and. No? And. Okay. Because of the 28, one person is failing. So do you get it? This is if. I'm going to again show in Notepad so that it is bigger and understandable. If and B2 greater than equal to 30 and C2 greater than equal to 30 and D2 greater than equal to 30 and E2 greater than equal to 30 and F2 greater than equal to 30, then pass, else fail. So you see how we have used this formula to declare pass and fail. The entire mark sheet, because things keep on changing and all, we can create an Excel sheet and keep. The moment we enter the marks, the student's result can be declared. The moment we enter the marks, the results will be out. The results will be out. Immediately we can print the mark sheet with mail merge. All the Excel data can be transferred into, means can be brought into Word with the help of mail merge, which is like for printing. So a mark sheet can be just printed straight away. Now, same way we want to give percentage. Who do we give percentage? Only one, for those people who have passed. So equal to, what is the percentage formula? This, and we have entered marks of 75. So divide by 375. And we'll convert it into percentage. Right click the cell, format cell. Format cell helps a lot, with date formats, because sometimes we were confused whether the date, suppose the date is 12/3/2022. So whether it is 12th March or it is 3rd December, whether the format is MMDDYY or DDMMYY. So depending on our local settings on our computer, it takes like that. Now here, percentage. After 2 decimals, we have like this. And we can drag it again. So when we drag it, all the rows will be filled. But then we have another condition. What is the condition that we have issue with? Oh, I have not shared the Excel. Yeah. Percentage. It is dry. Now the problem is the second one is failed. The failed person should not get as percentage. So we'll have to again write some condition here. What would be the condition writing here? We want to write equal to. If this equal to pass. If this row is pass, then this. Else, we don't want to give percentage. So automatically second one, it has given dash because the person has failed. Now, because the person has failed, we don't want to give any percentage. Nowadays, of course, we talk in terms of credits and SGPI. So if the student has failed, we don't give SGPI. So here we have this SGPI. With the entire teaching fraternity, the entire thing's changing with the introduction of NEP, ABC, the Academic Bank of Credits, the National Education Policy. A lot of things are going to change now. So a lot of research papers will come up. How to implement Academic Bank of Credits. So we will need to maintain a lot of data. And one of the very good ways to maintain data is to use Microsoft Excel. And this is how we are going to use that. We will be using this to store a lot of data and manipulate data. We see a lot of NAC reports. NAC themselves are given a lot of Excel files. We need to maintain that Excel file. We need to maintain the Excel files and we need to upload the Excel files. And to do that, again, data has become an integral part of our daily life. We play with a lot of data. Everything we need to keep records of. Another example, of course, if you are using Zotero or Mendeley to maintain the research paper details. If not, we can again use Excel to maintain the details of our research papers. We can use details in Excel too for maintaining our research papers. So we can enter the details in our research papers and we can edit in our document, be it thesis or be it research paper. We can again do mail merging of that. And when we do that, it becomes very easy to include it. Yes. Next. I hope all are getting what I'm saying. I'm going quite slow also because I don't want that it is just waste. So I hope everyone is getting what we have been discussing so far. Okay. Lookup. Okay. Let me explain Lookup. I will just go back to that Lookup. Nowadays, if you are having recent version of Excel, you need not worry about Lookup because it is just Lookup takes care of both Vlookup and Lookup. Okay, but just for knowledge, I'm just deleting the data here. We have this function Lookup equal to Lookup, and we want to look up this value from here to here and return the third row, values in the third row. Then we just do that, enter. So printer has come. But now what will happen when we drag, it will go to somewhere other rows and columns. We don't want this to change. We don't want this 12 because they are going to drag it vertically. This 12 and 14 should remain as it is. And then if I drag it down, it comes properly. Lookup. So we want to see 104, this value, from this table, the horizontal table, and return the third row, the value from the third row. So that is how it works. In Vlookup, whatever you want to look up from the table, that should be on the left hand side. In Lookup, it should be the topmost row, first row, topmost row. But in Lookup, there is no problem. We can look up from anywhere and we can get we can return any value, whether it is on left or right or top or bottom, doesn't matter. So that is the X lookup encompasses. It takes all these things. It takes all these things. So this is H lookup function. Anything else you want me to repeat, you can tell me. Otherwise, we'll go to next one. So this was H lookup. H lookup is horizontal lookup. VLOOKUP is vertical lookup. X lookup is both horizontal as well as vertical. Both ways we can look up. There is no problem with H lookup. Okay. And you know, Excel, of course, I'm not going into that, but I'm just informing that we can create, you know, small programs in language known as VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, which is one of the simplest languages. And when we do that, we can automate a lot of things. Suppose you want to automatically generate, you know, from a question bank, random papers. So for different students, we could have different papers. If we want to do that, then we could use all these things. We could use Excel, Visual Basic for Applications. We can write a macro, and that macros work, you know, for us to get all these things. Okay, we were on this way. Next. Even, you know, in Excel, though, like in Word, spellings are not checked automatically, we have in our review tab spelling. So if you want to do spell check, we can go there and click. So it checks the spelling in the document. So here, there is nothing, no spelling. So it goes there. Otherwise, it is available and it can be done. Okay. So spell check is also available as a part of Excel. Yes. Suppose we have some things in row and we want to convert it into column. Just we can copy, and while pasting, we can transpose it. This is transpose. We can copy and paste the formula. Transpose will convert rows to columns and vice versa. So while pasting, it becomes easier to do these things. And of course, there are a lot of things on it, but I think today this is enough for the session. So if you have any questions in what we have seen, you can tell me, and we'll stop here. Once again, thank you all of you for patient listening. If there are any questions, I would like to take it up. And I'm sure all of you will start using Excel extensively for a lot of your data management and research work. All types, as I said, you know, depending on your data, you can use your data, and the tests are available in Analysis Toolpack. You can add in, it is an add-in, and we can use Data Analysis Toolpack. Yes. So any particular questions regarding Excel or what we have done today?
Participants, please, any questions? Otherwise, you people can write into the chat box also. There's another one question into the chat box. How to insert data analysis tab is added. How to insert data analysis tab?
Yeah. How to insert? I will again show once again. I'm sharing the Excel screen. By default, data analysis doesn't come. What we have to do, we have to go to file. Depending on your version, you will find it may be file. In the earlier version, it was a home screen like that. I will just share. And file. For me here, it is file. It can be, that office icon in different one. In options, in file, in options, add-ins, there is analysis tool pack. Analysis tool pack. Just select that and say go. When you say go, there will be options. Defaults will be selected, and then you can say okay. It installs. Because mine is already installed, I am canceling it. So like this, we can insert. Analysis tool pack will come once we do this. Okay, that is not true with Excel because the question is very similar to duplication data. Yeah. Any other question? Okay. So thank you. Yeah.
If no other questions, then we will wind up over here with vote of things. Participants.
Any more questions?
Okay. Sir, I will start with the formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Good evening, everyone. It's my proud privilege to express the vote of thanks on this special day on behalf of DPD Star Scheme of KC College. I express my heartfelt thanks to our eminent speaker of the day, Dr. Hiren Dan Sir, Head of the IT Department, MCC College, for conducting this practical-oriented session on data analytics with Excel. Thank you so much, sir. I take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Srivar Mangai ma'am, Head of the Department IT at UGIT, and also the mentor of CS department at our college for the STAR DPT scheme. Thanks, ma'am. I would like to provide our deepest thanks to our principal ma'am, Dr. Hemlata Bagla, for always motivating us and giving the opportunity to CS and the IT department to organize this FDP to learn new skills for any future endeavors. And I also thank to my all-star coordinators, Dr. Shalini R. Sinha, Dr. Rakhi Gupta, and my fellow colleagues of both the departments of CS and the IT teachers. Thank you so much, each one of you. Today, we were able to conduct this online webinar only due to the sheer dedication and support of our technical team. I would like to thank the technical team, Mr. Monish. At the end, I would like to thank all the wonderful participants who have blessed us with their presence on the day one of an FGP. I want to say this for all my participants. These are the educators who are only people who lose their sleep for other people's kids. This is for all my participants who participate in this particular FDP to understanding new skills to enhance their ability, so they will showcase their understanding to their students. Thank you so much, each one of you, to being part of this FDP first day program. Thank you, each one of you. Tomorrow we will again meet at the same time, 2 p.m. with another session on another literature review. Thank you, Done, sir, for accepting, and lot of ton thanks to sir you to help me to organize this particular FTP for a successful 5-day FTP session on the data analytics and the applications.
Sir, I think some teachers were putting in the chat box that is it possible for you to share this Excel sheet with them? Whatever you showed today, if you have saved, sir.
I will share it here right away in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, because they are asking.
Yeah. I just saw that. I'll just share it.
And sir, I also want to thank to all my teachers I'm seeing in the participants list who taught me at my MSc level, at my UG level. Thanks to all the teachers to be a part of this FTP program.
Again, on the request of the participants, we have shared the feedback link for second session. You all can fill that. And then we can exit in another 2-3 minutes from the meeting.
Participants, please, it's a request to fill up the feedback link for both the sessions.
Yes, sir, you're saying something?
No, I was just saying I will just share with Varka madam. Then
Yes,
Varka, you can share it tomorrow with them.
Okay,
I'll
sir.
share
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a good evening to all of you.